As ma'am said, myself Mohamed Aseemudheen. I am pursuing my Master's Scholar from Kerala Agriculture University in the campus of Velayani, College of Agriculture Velayani. And today I have been given with the topic how to start FPO with a small group of farmers. Okay, let's see what are all the contents today we'll be seeing. Before getting on to the topic, and what are all the organization related with it, and what are all the legal forms of the producer organization. And let's get on to the main topic, formation of producer organization and its advantages and limitations. Before getting on to the formation of those producer organizations and farmer producer organizations, we must clearly understand that what is an producer organization. As we could see here, the brief definition of producer organization, which is a legal entity formed by primary producers. That is, the name itself indicates that producers organization. Producer can be of any type, that is farmers, milk producers, fishermen, weavers, rural artisans, craftsmen. Either anyone can be the producers, whereas they must be a primary producer. And producer organization can be a producer company or cooperative society or any other legal form, which we'll be seeing further. And this producer organization will be sharing profits or benefits among the members present in that organization. So it can be of any form, as I said, that this producer organization can be a company or a society or an anything which shares benefits.
Mr. Aseemudheen? Hello, Mr. Aseemudheen, are you there? Yeah, okay. Please proceed.
Okay.
Your PPT is not visible.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Oh, okay. Please proceed.
They said that this producer organization can be of any legal forms such as companies, societies, which varies among them based on their benefits and shares. Let's get on to our this is the important activities of producer organization. There are various number of activities can be carried out through producer organization, which is of those major activities has been listed out here. As such, procurement of inputs, disseminating of market information. Yes, that is the main need of producer organization. Members of that producer organization must be aware of whatever the market happenings around their market happenings in and around the country, and also the international level of market information should be shared with the members present in the producer organization, which is very much carried out in the case of producer organization. And also the members present in the producer organization must be aware of recent technology and innovations. And this producer organization is also being involved in facilitating finance for inputs. Normally, the small and marginal farmers will not be having as much of finance stability, as much of finance for their activities to be carried out, for their inputs to be carried out. The main concern of that small and marginal farmers is being addressed in the case of producer organization. And also the next very much important step of the producer organization is aggregation and storage of produce. Normally, small farmers will be having a small land, and marginal farmer will also be having a very minimum kind of land, and their output will also be very less. So this output, when it reaches the market, it will be costing very less for them, and the profit for them will also be less. In that case, this producer organization helps those small and marginal farmers through aggregation and storage of the produce. When 10 or 20 farmers, small and marginal farmers, put together their produce, it becomes a large quantity, and thus it increases the bargaining power of that produce. So that this producer organization through facilitates through aggregation storage. Storage is also a very much important component in the market price and all those things, because when a perishable quantity, when a perishable commodity is being stored and sold later, it will be having a good amount, it will be having a good bargaining capacity also. And also the primary processing kind of drying, cleaning and grading is also being carried out through producer organizations. And they also help in marketing activities like publicizing their brand. They'll be producing a specific brand for their own producer organization, which creates a good value among the public. And this is being professionally packaged and labeled and standardized according to the conditions prescribed by the government or an entity. And this producer organization is also being involved in quality control, which so many of the farmers lack because of their low literacy. This is being overcome through this producer organization. And this produce, the whatever the produce they have aggregated, whatever the produce they have storage, that is being marketed through institutional buyers. They'll be this organization will be serving as a company, and it will be helping in marketing those through to institutional buyers. And also this producer organization is being involved in participation of commodity exchanges and also export. Normally, small farmer or marginal farmer could not think of his export, his commodity to export of various other countries. But that is made true through this producer organization, through which large number of quantity of produce can be aggregated together, and it can be exported to various places or various countries based upon the needs. And coming on to our major organization, that is farmer producer organization or farmer producer company. It will be coming under a type of PO that we have discussed earlier, producer organization, where the members are farmers. As I said earlier, the producer organization should have the primary producers such as farmers, weavers or artisans. Likewise, this as named here, farmer producer organization has the primary member of farmers. And in the case of farmer producer organization, various institutions, various organizations support this growth and empowering of farmer producer organization, in which small farmers agribusiness consortium. It is an particularly formed society under an government of India for facilitating and providing support to the promotion of a farmer producer organization. As I said earlier, producer organization is a generic name for an organization of producers of any produce. Example, agriculture, it can be non-farm products, artisan products, etc. Now let us see detailedly what is this SFAC is. As I said, this SFAC is an autonomous society promoted by Ministry of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare in the year 1994, specifically formed for implementing the central schemes provided by the Government of India. This is the main objective of this Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium is to economically include small and marginal farmers in agribusiness activities. And this society is pioneer in organizing small and marginal farmers as farmers interest groups, farmer producer organizations, and farmer producer company, which endowing them with bargaining power and economies of scale. As I said earlier, all those facilitation and promotion is being carried out through this organization, which is which is coming under the Government of India, that is Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium. And what is this Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium doing for the producer organization? Majorly they do two main support for the producer organization. That is, the first thing is they'll be providing a credit guarantee fund, which will be mitigating the risk of the financial institution which lend to the farmers producer company. Earlier, normally while starting an organization or while starting a company, that organization will be facing a lagging in fund, or they will not be having a proper support, or they will not be having a proper credit facility for starting their organization. So this is being fully supported through small farmers business agri-business consortium. Through, and also the second main support is being given by them is equity grant up to rupees 15 lakh they are providing. That is, they will not be providing entire cash of 15 lakh. They will be providing as equity grant, is a non-cash payment through as a set of it is a planned, and it will be provided in an phased way, like after 3 months some amount of money will be disbursed. After 4 months of establishment of FPO, some amount of money will be disbursed. As such way, this equity grant of rupees 15 lakh is divided to a single FPO by this small farmers agribusiness consortium. And the main core objective of SFAC is that enhancing viability and sustainability of FPCs, that is farmers producer companies. Both farmer producer organization, farmer producer companies are similar in term, which will be dealing later. What are the differences? What are all the conditions for organization and company? We'll see what is first. We'll see what is the support provided by SFAC. Viability and sustainability here refers to that normally starting an FPO and functioning it for 3 or 4 months or 1 or 2 years. After that, that particular FPO will be lacking managerial techniques among them, or lack of trust among them, will lead to the breaking of, or will lead to the dissemination of that dismantling of that particular producer organization. So hence, for providing sustainability, it should be longing further. This farmer producer organization should be longing further. In that case, this small farmers agribusiness consortium is very much carried about the sustainability of farmer producer organization. And the second one is that credit worthiness. This small farmers agribusiness consortium is very much helpful in providing credit worthiness for the particular farmer producer companies. As I said earlier, they are providing an credit guarantee fund, and also they are providing equity grant of up to rupees 15 lakh for an FPO. And this they also support in enhancing their shareholding of members to increase their ownership and participation in their FPC. For increasing the numbers of members in an FPC or FPO, they also enhance their shareholding of members to increase their own ownership and participation. And as I said earlier, there are normally this PO is, and we have discussed earlier that PO is an legal entity. There are various types of legal forms available in India for starting and producer organization. Whereas we'll see that case, there are more than 5 or 6 legal forms in case of producer organization, in which first of case is the Cooperative Societies Act. And the second one is Multi-State Society Act, which has been formed in the year 2002, and the producer company under section 581C of Indian Companies Act, and section 25 Company of Indian Companies Act, and societies registered under Society Registration Act and Public Trust. As I said earlier, normally this our farmer producer organization or farmer producer company will be focusing on these two things only. That is, they will be forming as a cooperative society, or they will be forming as a producer company. Mostly in the case of India, and recently all FPOs or all farmer producer companies are being formed in the legal entity of producer company only, because we'll discuss later what are all the advantages of that Companies Act, because there are numerous advantages for the functioning of, for the stability of that farmer producer company. So all whatever organizations, farmer producer organization, they are forming newly, they are choosing the legal entity of producer company, that is under the Indian Companies Act. As I said that this two, that is cooperative society and producer company, both are only favorable or preferable foreign producer organization. Why? Because this Cooperative Societies Act and Producer Companies Act or involved in sharing of profit. That main objective of an FPO or a producer organization is sharing of profit. The profit has to be shared among the members in that organization or in that company. So this is very much carried out through which is very much facilitated through these two acts only, that is Cooperative Society Act or Producer Company Act. So preferable. So this is very much preferable for a producer organization. And various other forms also there we have discussed, like Trust Act is there. If we register through Trust Act, we could not get profit through that. So this kind of for producer organization, we need profit for running that organization or company. So we are choosing the form of Cooperative Society or Producer Company Act. Similarly, this cooperative society or producer company only will be having an capacity to procure inputs, raw material in bulk, and selling. All those legal conditions will be satisfied through this Cooperative Society Act or Producer Company Act only. And let's get on to the main issue we are discussing, that how to set up an FPO for a small group of farmers. The first and foremost step for the formation of producer company is that we have to identify the cluster. For example, if you are starting in the state of Tamil Nadu, you have to identify the district or cluster in which you are going to form that producer organization. After finding that cluster, we must be involved in conducting a baseline and feasibility studies to ensure that this producer organization is viable and it can be formed in the cluster or not. We must be very careful in these initial stages, that failure of this initial stages will lead to the failure of entire process of formation. That we have to deeply analyze the situation prevailing in that cluster, and we want to do very much field work in that case. We have to do a baseline and feasibility studies, that is the conducive condition is present in that cluster is there or not. We must be very aware about that before implementing, before selecting that cluster. These are all the points to be carried out. And after selecting that cluster, we have to meet that beneficiaries, or we have to meet that members of that our producer company, that is very much our primary producers, that is our farmers. We have to meet them in person, and we have to introduce the concept of producer company. As I have earlier explained about what is a producer company, what is a producer organization, and what is an farmer producer organization, we must be very clever about that those concepts before starting a farmer producer company. So we must be very careful in this stage, and we must also very clearly explain the concepts behind that producer company or producer organization, so that the farmers, or so that the primary producers is very much aware about that concept. And after introducing the concept, we must do a need analysis. That is, we have to explore the need for the producer company. Why this producer company has to come here? What is the need there? And we have to very cleverly, or we have to very clearly analyze the need there, so that the primary producers find themselves benefited through this kind of producer organization or producer company, and they will be very much interested in involving in this process. If there is a need for them, they will be automatically coming for that, and this process will be finally successful. After identifying the need and after introducing a concept to them, we have to take that particular group of farmers or particular group of primary producers to an exposure visit. As like we normally we do in the classes for students, we have to take them to an already established, already well functioning, or already successful farmer producer company, so that they see and they believe. That the concept of seeing and believing is emphasized through this exposure visit. When we take them to exposure visit, they'll be seeing the functioning of producer company, they'll be talking with them, they'll be interacting with them, so that they get the idea, and so that it stimulates their interest further. And after conducting an exposure visit, we must create a critical group of primary producers, that is involving all enthusiastic members of that village, of enthusiastic members of primary producers has to be involved in that group. And further the step has to be taken, proceeded through this critical group of primary producers who are already said that who are very enthusiastic about that idea. They must be very enthusiastic about that idea. They must have a very good interest in forming their producer company, and they should also be again clearly informed about the detailed benefits and detailed steps. So what are all the benefits of producer company or organization? They must be very clear about that so that it sustains longer. And the seventh steps that we must use that same critical group in canvassing other eligible members also. There will be family members of them, or there will be neighbors of them. We must be using that particular critical group in canvassing all other eligible members for to understand the benefit or to participate in them. And we must also ensure that we give a particular time for them to understand the idea. And after those things, we must have a frequent visits to clarify all their doubts. And the objective is that should that prospective members have right understanding, the first and foremost I think what I said, that they should have a proper understanding about the concept so that they doesn't leave in between of the process. And they must show the interest to work to have a mutual benefit. And normally this takes 3 to 6 months in the kind of social mobilization. And after that, we must have a focus group meeting among with them, and we must discuss all our possible business ideas with them so it could proceed further. After this many steps, we are getting into the technical steps of forming a producer company. That is, we must produce, or we must prepare a business plan as discussing with them, or all other stakeholders involved in that company. We must discuss with them, and we must form a draft business plan which could be revised or refined further in the cases of development. And once the primary producers are engaged or willing to produce the farmer producer company and ready to contribute their share of capital, we must take the all legal proceedings involved in the formation of that producer company. That is, the first step is identifying promoter directors. Promoter directors or organization or an bank or an company or an any government which involves in promoting of that particular farmer producer company. Normally, as we see in the case of SFAC, that is Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, will be also serving as a promoter director in this case. And we must prepare a draft article of association, that is nothing but the rules of the company has to be formed. Then we have to prepare a draft memorandum of association, that is what are all the activities going to be carried out throughout our company or throughout the process. Normally this kind of services or this kind of procedures is very much difficult for a normal illiterate farmer to do, so they can approach a consultant to get this AOA or MOA drafted if necessary. And also we must, after completing these procedures, we must call for an informal meeting to approve this kind of article association, memorandum of association, selection of promoters, or can be carried out through further meetings and those things. And after in that meeting also, if it is possible, we can start collecting the capital savings, or those things can be proceeded. And before starting an FPO or a formation of FPO, we must know that how many minimum or how many maximum numbers of members is needed to start an organization or to start a company. As I said, that normally all FPOs are registering through Company Act only. In this Company Act, it is said that 10 or more primary producers is minimum. 10 number of primary producers is required to start an company or to start and from a producer company. 10 is a very minimum number, and it can be easily achieved through this. And there is no restriction in number of maximum numbers. That is, it can be having 10,000 people, it can be having 5,000 people, it can be having 2,000 people. There is no restriction in maximum number of members present in a company. And also, the various studies have revealed that active participation of 700 to 8,000 members of farmers or primary producers will have a sustainable operation of that particular farmer producer company. As I said, that there are so many legal formalities or so many legal procedures to be carried out to form a producer company. And in the first case is a digital signature which has to be got through nominated director. And the main step is that we have to we have to give or suggest four names. That is, our particular company must have a unique name in which we have to suggest four names, in which one name will become approved from an ROC. That is register of company, which companies will be office will be there. In that we must fill the form INC1, through which we have to get our names get our name approved. And as I said, that this AOA, Memorandum of Association, all those legal steps has to be carried out in these stages. Same way, we have to form and apply for a director identification number. Same ways, all those legal procedures are given here. This can be mostly cannot be carried out through a normal individual public, whereas consultant, there are so many consultant available for this legal proceeding or for this legal formalities to be carried out, which can be carried out through their help. And to for the easier identification or to easier understanding of those process, I have given those formation of producer company in a flow chart for the easy identification. That major steps has been listed out here. That is cluster identification we have to do. We have to form a baseline and feasibility survey, and business planning has to be done. Often field visit and village meet has to be done, and in case of exposure visit has to be done. Critical group formation with an enthusiastic members of the producer company, and canvassing for that producer organization through that critical groups has to be carried out, and clarifying doubts session has to be arranged frequently to make them aware and keep them interested throughout the process. And this is also the legal formations or legal procedures to be carried out for a formation of company. That is, if primary producers need an producer company, if yes, the procedure has to go for collecting share capital and savings, identifying promoter directors, and revisiting business plan. After that particular stage completion, we have to appoint a consultant for that all our legal proceedings carried out. If the primary producers doesn't need that producer organization, means we have to go back to the member consent. The member consent preparatory stages has to be refined well, and it has to be carried out further. And this is also the submission module given by SFAC for we have to apply for form INC1 for name approval, and affidavits has to be submitted. We have to check for the availability of name, and power of attorney to be consultant has to be submitted, and directors of appointment has to be formed, and rectification of all those articles of association and memorandum of association has to be carried out. And at last, we have to obtain a certificate of commencement for further proceeding of our producer company. And this, what are all the charges involved in forming a producer company? This has been given by NABARD in their frequently asked questions in the year 2015, which will be further now in present case, which could have a very minimum variation. Like it will be around the fees or charges will be around 40,000 only for an estimation of an producer company. All those split up of details is being given here, like application, digital signature, and the miscellaneous expenses. All those will be coming around 40,000 at present date also. And as I said, that why we are choosing producer company instead of cooperatives, instead of societies act, instead of trust act, is that these are the advantages of a producer company. The first advantage is that the producer company is an hybrid. That is, it acts between like a private limited company and also a cooperative society, which enjoys the benefit of both things. So we are going to that producer company. And ownership and membership of producer companies held only by primary producers or producer of institutions, which cannot be traded further, which is a very good advantage. And the liability of the members is limited to the unpaid amount of shares held by them, which could be saving from the if also the company losses. And it has a very less paid capital, like 1 lakh for paid up capital, and also rupees 5 lakh for minimum authorized capital, which is an very small amount among that large group of members to mobilize. And other advantages are, as I said earlier, it has an minimum number capacity of 10 members is only required for an forming of a particular producer company, and there is no maximum limit for members to be accommodated in a particular company. And there is no any pressure or any equity stake from government or a private is needed to start a company, which also facilitates the easier production of producer company. And also this doesn't have any threat from other government or corporate. And the mode of working, the mode of operation for an producer company is an entire country. Whereas in the case of cooperatives, it has to be geographic specific. It has to work under that geographic situation where they have allocated only. But in the case of producer company, they don't have any restriction of geographical conditions. They can work throughout the entire country, which gives the flexibility to expand and do business in free and professional manner. As all those things will be having advantages and limitations, these are all the very less or very minimum limitations comparing all other legal entities of a producer company. That is, as I said, that registration is a very big difficult process for a normal or illiterate normal public to do. It requires a consultant for those all legal formalities has to be consumed. And as I said, it will be taking for registering alone, it will be taking for 2 to 3 months for an successful registration of a company. It is a time consuming process, and the members cannot transfer their shares freely. All shares will be held in the Companies Act, and it will be all those procedures is needed to transfer those amount. And also getting a professional CEO for that company is a bit difficult task, because normally CEO will be expecting higher charges. With an less cost, affordable cost, getting a professional CEO is a little difficult in the process. And also there are so many statutory provisions of Indian Companies Act, which are so many legal conditions are there to be studied and are there to be understood by or illiterate members to understand. It will be a bit difficult task for them in case of limitations. And I think that this is a very good stage if anybody is willing to start an FPO, or anybody is any group is a group of farmers are willing to start an FPO. This is a very good stage, because in the year 2021, central government has announced for an scheme, namely formation and promotion of 10,000 new farmer producer organization under the budget of rupees 6,865 crore has been allotted particularly for this central sector scheme, in which the process is being carried out very quickly. In the case of various states, we will see later what are all the states having number of FPOs. This is the right time or right period to initiate this FPO, which is being very much supported by central and state governments. As we could see here, number of FPO registered in India, various Indian states. We could see more than 500 FPOs has been registered in the case of Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. And whereas in case of Tamil Nadu, the rate ranges between 400 to 500. In the range of Kerala, it ranges around 200 to 300. All we could see here a very good graph, or very good formation of new FPOs in the state, which in the case of 2022, which was released by Press Information Bureau. Okay, I would like to conclude that for thank agricultureinformation.com for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge on farmer producer organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohamed Aseemudheen, for the detailed presentation. Now I'll take up some questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question is, what are the initial steps and requirements for forming a FPO with a small group of farmers?
Yes. As I said, that the preparatory stage is that we have to identify and cluster. We have to identify and cluster in a district or a district or a state. We have to identify a group of villages or a group of blocks together, and we have to analyze the situation prevailing there. What are all the situation prevailing there, and we have to analyze very clearly whether the need of FPO or a producer company is needed there. We must be very clear of that. After establishing a very good need, or if the need is required in that particular cluster or district, we must proceed with the further steps of implementing farmer producer organization through forming a critical group, or through conducting an exposure visit for that critical group, and also taking them to the successful FPOs prevailing already, so that they could good exposure visit of functioning or of that success of that particular FPO, so that they get enthusiastic. And this all the are all the preparatory stages of starting an FPO, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. And what support or incentives are available for small scale farmers looking to establish an FPO at the community level?
Um, Yes, ma'am. As I said that small farmers agri-business consortium, it is an particular society which has been allocated to support the small and marginal farmers in the case of economic holdings. Because as we know that small and marginal farmers are very much lacking in their economic stability and their aggregation of produce and markets. This small farmers agri-business consortium is exclusively supporting them in producing a farmer producer organization in two ways. The first way is that they are giving a credit guarantee, so that in the initial stages they will be supported through all those facilities. They will be supported through all those credits in the initial stage of forming an FPO. And after formation of an FPO, they will be facilitated with an equity grant of rupees 15 lakh per FPO. They will be provided with an equity grant of rupees 15 lakh per FPO, which will be very much helpful for their further proceeding of that FPO, and further formation of FPO, which also enhances or emphasizes the sustainability of that particular FPO, ma'am. These are all the supports provided by SFAC.
Okay. And how can small groups or sorry, how can small groups of farmers effectively pool their resources and contributions to initiate the formation of an FPO?
Yes, ma'am. As I said that the Farmer Producer Company Act, which requires only 10 members for the formation of FPO, there should be mutual understanding between them, and there should be a very good interest among them to proceed further. After formation of FPO, they'll be benefited through all their producers will be aggregated together. If 10 farmers are producing rice, all those 10 farmers will be gathered together, and all their produce will be harvested at the same time, and that produce will be having a bulk quantity which has a good bargaining capacity in the market, so that they'll be having a good amount for bargaining, and they will also getting good amount from the dealers which they purchase. If those farmers are separated, or those farmers are individually selling, they might not be getting this aggregated profit or benefit, ma'am. That is the case of small and marginal farmers, because they'll be lacking market information. As they go individually, they will not be aware about the market situation prevailing there. Whereas in the case of group, they'll be the CEO or the organization supporting that particular FPO will be sharing all informations regarding that market information available with them, so that they'll be involved in good market practices, which gives them a good yield, ma'am.
Okay. And can you provide guidance on the legal and administrative procedures involved in registering and establishing an FPO?
Yes, ma'am. As I said that there are various legal procedures involved in forming an FPO. which includes signing of articles of association, signing of memorandum of association, and also the provision of Form 1I INC, that is for formation of name. Such wise, so many legal documents and so many legal procedures has to be cleared before starting an FPO, which is normally carried out through consultant. There are so many consultants available for this legal proceedings to be carried out, ma'am. This can be easily proceeded through that consultant, ma'am.
Okay. And are there specific training programs or resources to help farmers enhance their organizational and managerial skills for FPO management?
Uh, Specifically, I don't think there is any training program for farmers alone, ma'am. But normally, as now case we that the government is promoting 10,000 FPOs, they are providing training for that cluster-based business organizations. There are so many cluster-based business organization which is being involved in gathering all FPOs prevailing in that cluster. That cluster-based business organization will be pooling all FPOs in the pertaining in that FPO, and that cluster-based organization will be involved in training, involved in capacity building of that farmers, involved in giving awareness to that farmers. This capacity-based business organization will be provided with the training by government, ma'am. Government will be providing, or government will be supporting identifying this cluster based business organization. They will be conducting conferences among them. They will be calling CEOs of that cluster based business organization. That government will be giving a specific training to that cluster based business organization. Whereas in the case of farmers, there is no particular training given by government or specifically for the members of that FPO, which is being normally carried out through this cluster-based organization, or all other institution promoting this FPO will be giving training to that farmers.
Okay. And how can farmers ensure inclusivity and active participation from all members in the decision-making processes of the FPO?
Yes, ma'am. In the case of decision making and management aspect, there is that initial stages of preparatory stages of farmer producer organization plays a major role here, because during identification of group or identification of members, we must be very clear in identifying them. Because if we take the people who are not very much interested in this kind of group activities, we must not force them to do that, because that causes future failure. Because while identifying itself, we must sort all those categories of people, and we must select only the peoples or group of farmers having a very good interest. When they have a very good interest and they understand the benefit of those farmer producer organization, they'll be highly enthusiastically involved, and they'll be highly motivated through to carry out all these activities. This type of decision making and this type of all activities should be boarded by a board of directors will be there for that particular company, and they'll be having a set of organizational structure among them. They'll be having an CEO among them. They'll be having board of directors. They'll be having consultants among them. They'll be having active participating members, which through which they'll be carrying out all decision making activities through a proper structured way, ma'am, so that this decision making will be lasting, or this decision making will be of a good sustaining way. So all these kind of managerial activities will be carried out through those hierarchical structures already set up through that companies act, ma'am.
Okay. And can you share success stories or examples of FPOs formed by small groups of farmers and the positive impacts on their communities?
Yes, ma'am. As of my knowledge, as I'm studying in Kerala, we have visited a small farmers agribusiness consortium office in the state of Kerala. where we could see so many examples of FPOs or so many examples of FPCs which are successfully prevailing, which are successfully ongoing their processes, such as they are having a specific coconut farmers together formed an FPO. 10 or 20 coconut farmers together formed an FPC, which entirely changed their socio-economic conditions, through which they marketed or through which they attained very much benefit from that government, and also the support from the various cluster-based business organization. They supported very much that company, and that company members has got very good benefits because they acted as a group, and they acted as a mutual. They had a mutual understanding between them, so that had a good success among them, and that impact had a very good socio-economic change among the community level, because each and every coconut farmer involved in that particular company has been benefited through their profits, because all their commodity of coconuts will be put together, or that will be further processed. Normally, if a farmer produces a coconut, he'll be selling that raw coconut in the market. But whereas in the case of FPC, they'll be getting a large quantity of commodity, which will be further processed, and it will be added value. That value added products will be sold among the society, which gains a good profit, which could not be carried out to normal individually. If I am a farmer, if I have only 10 or 20 trees in my field, I'll be getting a very less amount of yield only. So that if my like people are there, and if we join together, and we'll be getting a bulk quantity which can be processed easily. Normally, small amount of quantity cannot be processed in a very established industry. But if an affordable, if an very good quantity of produce is there, it will be easy for them to add value, and it will be easy for them to process, so that it gains a good value, and it will lead to the profit sharing among them, ma'am.
Okay. And what financial models or funding sources are available to support the establishments and growth of small-scale FPOs?
Question once more.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. What financial models or funding sources are available to support the establishment and growth of small-scale FPOs?
Yes, as I said earlier, there are promoting organizations specifically for the formation of FPO under SFSC, or normally there are for this case of 10,000 FPO formation, Government of India has identified 9 implementing agencies, such as, for example, I don't remember all 9. I think this SFSC will be coming under that, and NABARD will be coming under that implementing organization, and national cooperative societies will be coming under that implementing agencies. All those agencies will be providing fund for them. Normally, in case of a small level, a bank will be acting as an promoting organization, or an entire government or entire state government will be acting as a promoter organization for that particular FPC, so that they could benefit it from them. As I said earlier, SFSC will be providing credit guarantee for them for the initial stages for the forming. All those nascent activities will be carried out through that credit guarantee provided by the SFAC, and after the establishment of FPO, they'll be provided with equity grant of rupees 15 lakh for an single FPO or FPC, which will be distributed in a phased manner based on the development and based on the need of that FPC. So these are all the fund supporting, and other than that, banks or NGOs, normally non-governmental organization, is also now being involved in supporting these kind of FPCs or FPOs. They'll be also providing fund. They'll be also circulating fund among them for their development and for their needs. And they also based on the support provided by FPC, sorry, SFAC, that particularly FPC can approach the bank or any money lending organization for their need, because that credit guarantee will be provided by SFAC, so that it will be a valid document, or it will be an ensured trust provided by government for this particular FPC, so that they could very easily approach a bank or any financial institutions for their need, and they'll be providing need based on that on their requirement, and this kind of funds can be collected for them, ma'am.
I think 1 second. There's 2 more questions. Yeah. And how can farmers leverage technology and digital platforms to streamline communication and operations within the FPO?
We know that we are living in the digital era of development of technologies and innovations. Normally, communication plays a major role in sustaining of that particular FPO, which can be very much carried out through normally. Informally, we could see that there are so many success stories during COVID-19. A WhatsApp group has been acted as an lifesaver of so many farmers, because normally we have so many informal WhatsApp groups in which farmers will also be there, traders will also be there. Farmers will be posting their produces available, traders will be producing their needs available. In that such informal ways, these kind of activities has been carried out in the case of COVID-19 situation, and which is also still continuing this kind of informal activities of communication, which leads to success or which leads to profit of that or particular organization or a particular individual. This kind of informal communication also leads to success. Looking into the formal kind of communications, the same SFAC has been established an e-norm portal, that is Electronic National Agriculture Market Portal, which particularly focuses on small and marginal farmers for selling of their produces. This e-norm portal is linked with all over the mandis available in various states of India, so that when a farmer posts a produce from Kerala that he is having 100 coconut available with him, a farmer from Odisha or a farmer from Karnataka can buy those products through online itself. He need not come to the particular Kerala for buying a coconut. He'll be carrying out all his operations. He'll be monitoring all his operations through digitally. This is a very much very significant development of government of India, that is e-norm portal, which involved in benefiting or which involved in development of those small and marginal farmers, ma'am. This is also one of the significant milestone in the digital era. That e-norm portal is a significant milestone.
Okay. And now we have the last question. Are there mentorship programs or partnerships with experienced FPOs that small group of farmers can tap into for guidance and support?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Obviously, during the preparatory stage of an FPO, we'll be having an exposure visit. Normally, this is not very much formal kind of visit or very much formal step. It has to be carried out mandatorily. But this is a very important step that this facilitates in seeing and believing. That is, when a farmer realizes that one more similar organization or one more similar company is being functioned in the nearby state or being functioned in a nearby village, when he visits there or when he sees that it is functioning well, he will also be motivated through that process, and he will also be engaged in that process very much easily because of these exposure visits and exposure visit, and also this kind of exposure visit will be promoting that particular FPO also, ma'am, because that FPO will be having members of 10 to 20 people, so that this members who are visiting there can also join there. Because if an individual can be a member of two producer company or organization, also if a single individual is producing a rice and also milk, he can be a member of rice producing organization and also milk producing organization also. In that way, the farmer can be benefited by visiting or getting guidance from other FPOs also. Normally this is carried out very informally through exposure visit and all those activities, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Mohamed Aseemudheen, we don't see any more questions from our participants. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we'd like to thank you for the detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth and with a lot of patience. And we also like to thank all the participants for joining this meeting. The meeting will now be closed. Thank you for this meeting.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.